1 year from now. That's when Alexis Sanchez's Arsenal contract is over.
Oh, snap.
But will he even make it that far in a Gunners shirt? It's one of the sagas of the summer. Let's debate the alternatives if he's not with Arsenal this season. Let's start with Bayern Munich. The reports on this one have swung wildly, from almost being a done deal to being dead in the water. Who knows what to make of the headlines? But why don't we look at the facts? Firstly, he certainly wanted at Bayern, at least by Chile teammate Arturo Vidal. In comments to German newspaper Bild, Vidal said Sanchez would certainly improve Bayern as a side. It's impossible to argue with that, of course, even with the firepower Bayern already have. But let's look at that firepower. While plenty comes from the wide areas of the pitch, via Arjen Robben, Frank Ribery, Kingsley Coman and Douglas Costa, the main man up top is Robert Lewandowski. Lewandowski had his best season ever in Germany last campaign, scoring 43 goals in 47 appearances. But he's also a little pissed off at the moment, blaming his teammates for not providing him with more chances to win the Bundesliga's top scorer title ahead of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I don't think anyone expects Lewandowski to depart, but Bayern needs something more there in any case, with Thomas Müller, who has struggled to hit any great heights since Euro 2016, the only other option up front. Sanchez would look good in Bayern's kit, and his perfect combination of class and fight would be a real asset for the club, particularly in their quest to win a Champions League title for the first time since 2013. But despite their riches, Bayern have already said they're not going to spend 100 million on a guy of Sanchez's age. So, will money price Bayern out of this move? We'll wait and see. When Pep Guardiola was still coach of Bayern Munich and still had hair, he bought Alexis Sanchez from Udinese for £22 million. Pep's now bald, of course, and at Manchester City, but he could be set to reunite with the Chilean once more. But how could City be an alternative for Sanchez? The blue half of Manchester have already spent some major cash this season on Bernardo Silva and Ederson, and are unlikely to end their shopping there. A fullback or two have been mentioned, but in any case, City are capable of meeting most asking prices. And Arsenal, as history shows, have not been too worried about selling big-name players to rivals. Would they do the same with Sanchez? Arsenal will be determined to return both to the title fight and the Champions League. So selling an asset like Sanchez to a rival is probably the worst thing the club can do. Should this move happen, however, Sanchez would join a City squad already packed with some exceptional attackers, like Sergio Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, Kevin De Bruyne, and Leroy Sané. But despite all that talent, there is something here that might indicate why Guardiola fancies Sanchez. Of all of City's attacking talents, Aguero was the most prolific in the league, scoring 20 goals. The next best, both on 7 goals, were Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling. Based on his 24-goal haul in the Premier League last campaign, that's a gap Alexis Sanchez could help close. So, while there'd be a real luxury problem at Manchester City if Sanchez was to arrive, we'd back his qualities in, especially given he has the confidence of the manager, Pep Guardiola. The final option for Sanchez, and perhaps a bit of an anticlimax, is to not go anywhere. Yes, he got a bit grumpy last season. And yes, the only European football Arsenal have this campaign is the Europa League. But he is still one, and bear with me here, of only 2 Arsenal players, along with Mesut Ozil, that many would consider truly world class. We might not even be discussing his potential departure should that contract be 1 year from its end. But here we are, of course. More contract talks are due, but Arsenal know it's better to make some money on him this summer than lose him for nothing next. But can they convince him to stay? Selling him on the club's vision will certainly help. One of the reasons Thierry Henry said he left Arsenal in 2007 was because of doubt over Arsene Wenger's future. And that is the case again 7 years later. What Wenger does after this season, of course, is only part of the package. Sanchez will also want to know the club shares his ambition through more than just words, and a few handy signings like these guys might help too. Sanchez looked like he was shouldering way too much for his team several times last season, which might help explain the petulance that led to his brief benching. and that laughing matter on the bench in the second leg of the 10-2 aggregate loss to Bayern in the Champions League that was, well, really no laughing matter. In the end, however, it's probably money that gets this one across the line. With a weekly wage of between £250,000 and £350,000 mentioned, it's going to take big bucks to keep this guy at Arsenal. So there you have it, guys. Alexis Sanchez, future up for debate. Where's he going to end up? Will it be Bayern Munich? Will it be Manchester City? Will he stay at Arsenal? Or will it be somewhere else altogether? Let us know in the comments like normal. Subscribe along, and we'll see you next time.